to the Weekly Comet. Sadly, my co-host Jonathan McHugh can't join us this week because, you know, he's stuck having a really good time in Nashville, but he'll be back next week to tell us all about it. But I promise it will be a great show, even though I'm going to be manning it solo. We have a ton of great guests in the house today. John Houlihan, music supervisor extraordinaire, is going to be here. He's going to talk about From the Sky Down, the U2 documentary, also about Seeking Justice, starring Nicolas Cage, and Renaissance man that he is, he's also a composer, so he'll give us some insight into that as well. And of course, Kcrw DJ Jason Kramer is in the house, and his pick of the week is of Monsters and Men, the Icelandic hot group. So he'll be telling us all about that. And to play for us live, we have singer-songwriter Amy May. In fact, it was my friend Billy James who heard her playing on the 3rd Street Promenade, gave me a call, gave me her website. I listened to her, fell in love with her. We had her come in the studio today. Everybody in the studio has fallen in love with her. We can't believe we have Amy May here. She's amazing. I'm kicking it over to you.
Well, I never normally do this. It's a tale of fear and madness now. My cards are on the table, and I'm ready and I'm able somehow. See, I'm known for my departures, don't believe in ever after stay. But it's ever since you left me, I have a feeling I regret this somehow. Well, hey girls, I'll tell you everything I know. I give you everything and never let go. Oh yeah, I am open. Did I tell you that I love you, even when I'm screaming at you now? I'm so proud to walk beside you, and that in this life I need you around. 'Cause every time you hold me, there's a girl inside me breaking down. And now every word you told me has a line inside a star
that was Amy May performing her song Open. Thank you. We will have her on the couch later, and she might even play another song. But now it's time for the Comet News. At some point, I hope to be able to do the news and not talk about dead people. Sadly, this week, frontman of the legendary 60s rock group The Monkees, which was also an amazing TV show that premiered in 1966 on NBC and kind of took off on Beatlemania. The singer Davy Jones passed away yesterday morning, February 29th in Florida. He had a heart attack. He was only 66 years old. Our condolences and, thank you for the music. And our hearts go out to his family and friends. The big news this week was, of course, the Oscars. The artist took home the Best Picture honor, and composer Ludovic Bource picked up the Oscar for Best Original Score. What's interesting about him, not formally trained at all, literally just sort of a jazz cat, ends up scoring a silent film and wins the Oscar. So congratulations to you. Of course, the film also won Best Picture. Meanwhile, there were only 2 nominees for Best Song, which is totally bizarre and a whole other issue that maybe we'll address one day with the Academy. But Brett Mckenzie, known for Flight of the Conchords, picked up the honor for Man or Muppet. Congratulations to Brett Mckenzie. Katy Perry has scored yet another #1 hit song, and this time it's a breakup song. Russell Brand, hello. It's off her re-release of Teenage Dream. The song's called Part of Me. It jumped to #1 on the Ultimate chart. And of course, Grammy Queen Adele now has 3 songs on the top 10. Wow, she is completely unstoppable. In odd news of the week, and there really aren't any words to really describe how weird this one is, but this season's cast of Dancing with the Stars, yes, it's soul legend Gladys Knight and pop singer Gavin DeGraw. They are going to be on the show with Jaleel White, which you probably know as Urkel, and Little House on the Prairie actress Melissa Gilbert. I'm kind of speechless. I don't really watch the show, but wow, what a lineup. I actually want to see if Gavin DeGraw can dance as good as he can sing. Next up, we have Kcrw DJ Jason Kramer. Check out this video, his artist pick of the week of Monsters and Men. How did you find them?
I'm going to tell you about these guys. These guys, they're called the Monsters and Men from Iceland. Amazing band. David Frick from Rolling Stone says these guys are the next Iceland's Mumford & Son and also the new Arcade Fire. A lot of comparisons to Edward Sharpe and Magnetic Zeros, who incidentally is in the studio now for a new album.
Nice.
And this is the kind of band that shows the power of the blogs.
The power of the blogs.
This is a band that does not get a lot of radio play, does not do a lot of music supervision stuff yet, because I think you're going to see more of that. However, people who have sent this out on the personal blogs have really grabbed around to the song. And it got to the point where the Troubadour, they're going to be here on the 21st and 20th.
Right.
Sold out both shows.
And you're taking me, right?
I don't even know if I'm going. I'm trying to go. Sold out both shows.
Wow.
So that I find is an amazing accomplishment for a band with nothing. And it reminds me loosely of Beck when he first came out on Loser.
I miss Beck.
Yeah, me too.
Just a side note.
No,
I do. I miss Beck.
He's actually recently, he did was it a Feist remix or somebody remix that he recently did. So he's still doing remixes, but he's coming back as well, I believe. But with bands like Beck, when Loser came out, it was only one song. It was off an EP called Beer Can at that time. And K-Rock played it out here, and actually Kcrw, and then K-Rock.
Right.
Blew up Beck. Wasn't really signed to anybody. It was on Bonglode Records, and then Geffen took it over, and they made the whole album off of it. So it happens. Singles happen.
So what do you think of the video? What's that creature?
I know, it's like a Terry Gilliam adventure.
Ooh.
I wrote that right now, so you didn't even have to do that.
It was good.
I think it's an amazing video. I mean, it just takes a bunch of elements from different, whatever it is. I mean.
And how did you first?
I'm lost.
You're lost.
I'm lost. How did I first find them?
Yeah.
Just reading blogs.
Which blog?
All over.
All over.
Yeah, I have my Google Reader, and so I'm just constantly reading different artists and all that every single day.
But tell us a little bit about your other gig and what you're working on.
Okay, my other.
We always introduce you as a Kcrw DJ, which you are, but you're also a music supervisor. So I'm curious. You can do whatever you want.
I'm a music supervisor for Elias Arts. Elias Arts is a music agency where we do music for commercials, and I've been doing it for a little over a year and a half now. In the past, I've worked at Fox Sports, I've worked at MTV, I've worked at Getty, I've worked at other libraries, and worked at other radio stations too. And this I find is just amazing because my job is a concept music supervisor, and what that means is I work closely with the creative director. We'll get an idea from the agency of what the commercial is going to be like.
Right.
This year alone, we've done, I would say, about 215 commercials.
And I know you did some Super Bowl stuff too.
Did about 5 Super Bowl spots.
Well, I think next week, and I think the audience will agree with me, I want to play one of your spots. So we'll see if we can get it clear, but I would love to show everyone sort of the other side.
I got other spots too I think you're going to love.
The other side of Jason Kramer. So.
I mean, we did the Key of the Heavy, doing How You Like Me Now.
Which is awesome, yeah.
Did Those Darlings.
How You Like Me Now. That's one of my favorite commercials.
Yeah, that was a breakthrough.
I love little stuffed animals.
You know, that was a breakthrough song for them.
Yeah, it was. It was a breakthrough commercial, actually, just in terms of the creative and how it worked. So we will take you behind the scenes on that next week. And
let's see, we got Avi Buffalo's coming in.
Avi Buffalo's coming in, and Neil
from Origami Vinyl. He's going to come share about his being one of the last record stores here in Los Angeles.
And the coolest one.
And the coolest one. Have my collection of naked
I don't know if we can show the naked.
Well, we'll have the black things on.
Yeah,
but,
we can't be naked
on the show. Can't be naked, but
so.
I do have that collection. So.
But we are going to bring in some, anyway, you guys will have to tune in next week to see. Thank you, Jason.
You are quite welcome.
Thank you, thank you. And next up, we'll be right back with John Houlihan. Okay, what was it like working on the movie, Seeking Justice?
Seeking Justice was great because it was a very big independent film. Films like The King's Speech and some of the artists, a lot of the most creative films are being made outside the system and then brought to Hollywood. So I've really been enjoying that, finding these $25 million independent films. You know?
It's interesting, it seems like because the big studios are not even financing those kinds of movies, a lot of it is coming from the independent sector.
Yeah.
And then picking up distribution with the majors.
Sometimes they do what's called distribution for a fee, where this film Looper I'm working on right now, the Sony or TriStar is distributing it, but it's sort of for a fee. All the P&A money is still independent, and they're just keeping all the power and control. Does
this mean you're getting proper music budgets?
No, it means that they're worse than ever.
Right.
You know, I would think. But yeah, and that's actually a hard part about music supervising those films. You've got 2 nickels for your music budget, and the directors definitely want big known songs and things, so you're going to all the major licensors and they're going, well, $25 million budget, Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
You know, this movie Looper I'm working on right now, it's Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Bruce Willis, and Emily Blunt. But
love Bruce Willis.
Yeah, he's great. It's an amazing film, and it's another one of these independently financed, you know, low $20 million movies, and it's highly creative, and I think it's going to do really well. That comes out in September.
So I have a question for you.
Yes. As
you appear to be, you know, I've known you for a while, you're kind of like a pretty mellow white dude. How is it that you became like the music supervisor on Training Day, Get Rich or Die Trying, like hardcore flicks, and like they called you?
Well, it all started with Training Day, and then Antoine Fuqua, the director of Training Day, he's great, and he's just a great guy, and he's one of my true collaborators, and always calls me for his projects. And I was looking at my own credits, going to have lunch with him.
What did you think to yourself?
I was realizing how light and white I was, you know, and it essentially became me begging him. I'm like, I'm going to be on Police Academy 10, you know, if you don't hire me and, you know, let me show you what I can do with this. So I got the chance with him, and I really seized it, and I really went for it. And David Ehrlich is the guy who was president of Priority Records at the time.
Wow, Priority Records.
Brian Turner was, David was the GM.
David, yeah.
And he really taught me a lot and encouraged me, and I would say nothing can overcome the armed guards at when these typical hip hop camps go into a studio.
Murder Inc.
They lock
Did you ever
it
go
down.
to Murder Inc?
But
Hardcore.
But when you are a sleep-deprived white man with 3 children under 5, and you show up with the baby seats, and I probably had vomit stain on
Oh
my
my
shoulder.
God, I want photos.
I'm there to get my job done, and I'm getting in, and
Right.
I'm going to see Dr. Dre, and I'm getting in, and I got to, sit down with Nelly or whatever it is, So David really encouraged me and said, "You just got to get in there. You got to break that door. You got to
Right.
do it." So that was a skill that a lot of skills that I learned during training. And also another thing is just keep it real. I don't do the bro hugs. Well, now I do sometimes, but I just kind of I come in and I'm myself, and,
Right.
and the guys respect that, and we're sitting there. Some of these guys are truly artists, and I'm truly a hip hop fan.
Well, it's a lot of misconception about, all of it, like what it means, and just to go in and, again, keep it real, and like, this is a great film, it needs great music,
Yeah, and
you're a man of your word, let's get it done.
Yeah, and we're sitting there at 3 in the morning talking about theories about the universe and
Right.
things like that, and just really getting into it as opposed to being fake or they have really sensitive bullshit detectors when it comes to phonies. So
Well, yeah.
And
especially with both those particular films, Training Day and Get Rich or Die Trying, Training Day is one of my favorite movies. And just really, the music is so impactful, and it makes the film, it makes the authenticity of the film even that more palatable.
Right, great. Yeah, and we had battles too. It was interesting because when you do a film like that, you serve many different masters. And I had Antoine, and his vision is
Right.
always my prime goal. I'm very director-based, and if everything will come out well in the end, even if it's 3 months after the film comes out, if I stick with the director. That's been my success, part of my formula over the years. But Priority Records had $2 million up. We had all these things
Right.
at stake, and they couldn't handle that we had a Buena Vista Social Club song in a car scene with Denzel Washington's character. But I have to say, if we put in our C Murder track or whatever one of our
Right.
singles was in that spot, it might have hurt Denzel's Oscar,
Well, yeah, and
perception.
I remember that particular scene too,
that's
and
good.
that Buena Vista track. It worked.
It worked, and
'Cause it had that
the
kind of
character was
ethereal-
bilingual, and
Yeah.
it was
It brought in like the Cuban flavor a little bit.
it was right for the film. So we,
Right.
we defended that, and in the end, it all turned out well.
Austin Powers, I just wanted to say, yeah, baby. You worked on all of the Austin Powers films. What was that like?
Well,
those are like iconic scenes.
I love Mike. He's a tour de force. He is one of the hardest working guys, one of the most creative guys, one of the most compassionate guys. He has a reputation. Because he was Shrek, people like to. I've read that, he's the ogre and all that stuff. Not at all. Not at all.
He's pretty shy, I think. Oddly.
Yeah.
Like as a person, not as a comedian, but like in person.
Yeah, I would say so. But he's just in it to win it. You only have a problem with Mike if you're not trying and working and caring as hard as he is.
Right.
And I always give it 110%. So I get on with him quite well. Between the 3 movies, we've had so much fun and misadventures and crazy things.
Oh my God.
Some of them I have to check in with Goldmember and watch it because. Some of it, I'm so close to it. Literally, I'm underneath the camera when it's moving on a dolly, counting out the dance, counting out the numbers of the choreography count for Mike, and we're just jamming on the stuff at 2 in the morning. So I have to wait a little time and go back and look at the movie to really enjoy it as a.
Yeah, most people don't know that, music supervisors are on set counting out the beats to make sure the dance sequences go great. One last question I want to ask you about Tasty Media Music.
Yeah, Tasty Media Music
Which is the library that you're working on or that you've started.
It's a new licensing library. I think in 2011, 2012, all music supervisors and just about everybody in Hollywood has been reinventing themselves and having to diversify. But Tasty Media Music is going to be my version of music that's kind of approved by John Houlihan, for media uses, meaning the libraries are great, but you have 300,000 tracks in the average library. I don't think I'll ever have more than 1,000 tracks, but I want every single one to be a banger. And,
Right.
and I can work it into my daily flow. Amy, your awesome music guest,
Amazing, right?
is going to be hit up by
Incredible.
me about Tasty Media
See?
Music. I'm not sure.
See?
I'm not sure if she's buying what I'm selling, but I have a chance.
We'll update everyone on that later.
A chance to get Amy
yeah,
inked.
she's amazing.
On this movie Looper, I was looking for vintage country songs, and
Right.
it was on an independent budget. So now I'm going to have my vintage country jukebox album for Tasty Media Music, and it's all going to go through APM. So there's a huge infrastructure. So
Right.
I'm excited about it. And I also, big thing, I started a Twitter feed. So it's
Oh, cut back.
it's at.
Oh, John's on Twitter. Everyone be afraid.
I'm just getting hip to it.
Hide your
but-
wife, hide your kids.
But I like it. It's at TastyMM, and I've had fun with it. I'm not going to overdo it, but it's just kind of fun, wacky stuff, and it's not really going to be this blatant commercial kind of a feed. It's going to be film music philosophy, spirituality. I'm going to pull like a
Ooh.
Zen-like, offerings out to people who are in the trenches. And I don't want 100,000 followers. I just want 1,000 of the
good
people who
ones.
work on media music, just to have a little hub that we can all see what wacky stuff I'm up to.
Unfortunately, we've run out of time. I did want to note quickly that John is also a composer. He composed for the TV show The Defenders.
On
And
CBS, yeah.
Congratulations, you're definitely like a Renaissance man. I hope you continue composing.
Thanks.
And thank you so much for being on the show. And we will
Hey.
be following your spiritual guru philosophy on film and other things. What is it, Tasty?
Media music at TastyMM. is
At
the Twitter.
Tasty MM. Thank you so much,
Hey,
John.
thanks for coming.
And
Come
now
down.
Amy May is going to come back and join us. But first, I want to show you guys the video to her, one of my favorite songs, Real.
Where have you gone? Tell me you wait for me.
And we have Amy May with us. Thank you so much for being here and performing. You've definitely captivated the whole studio. And I think I mentioned before, my friend Billy actually saw you performing on the 3rd Street Promenade. And I know that you've performed all over the world. So tell us how you ended up in Los Angeles.
Well, yeah, in the last few years especially, I've just been almost every corner of the globe, and it's been amazing. And somewhere that I've really began to almost feel like a second home has been Los Angeles. I have so many friends here, and I've played some shows here, and it's just been a really inspiring and motivating place for me to spend time. And performing on 3rd Street Promenade is such a great way to kind of reach out to people and potentially have thousands of people every day just hear about my music, which is what I want at the end of the day.
Well, it's working.
No, I'm very happy to be here. Thanks so much.
It's definitely working. So tell us a little bit about, your musical journey. Like, when did you start writing songs? You're an extraordinary songwriter.
Well, thank you. I was singing for the most part of my childhood. My parents are both very musical. My father plays the guitar and writes songs himself, and I was in a band when I was 17, but the songs were written for me. And then I went to study at university and studied English literature and got into writing poetry and constructing, I suppose, words and expression through that medium. And when I graduated, I decided that I wanted to go back into music again, but this time try it as a songwriter. And it was a journey, as everything. It's a huge process of learning what's right for me, my voice, my just general writing style as well. But it's great to feel like you're evolving every day and that it's limitless how much you can do creatively. So.
We were talking earlier, and it's really interesting to me because we have a lot of singer-songwriters that watch the show, and we have a lot of singer-songwriters on the show, of how to make the right choices as an indie artist, and sort of what kind of choices you're looking to make. I mean, the music business is pretty much the Wild West right now.
Yes, I think, it's a balance. It's always a balance, like so many things. I think that we're within a business, so we have to be smart and savvy about being able to reach people through thinking in a business way. But at the same time, we can't get so dragged down by how to go viral that we forget to even write songs.
Right.
So it's just a balance every day. And like John was saying about Twitter, I have a Twitter account now, and it's a thing that I'm learning to do in a very slow way. But it's just communication at the end of the day. We want to reach our fans, but at the same time, we have to still be honest with them about what we're giving them, which is our creation. It's our music, and we have to be able to focus on that as well. So as an independent artist, yes, you do have to wear like 10 different hats, but it's always important to have the biggest hat be the one as the creator, because without that, there is no business.
So what's next for you right now? Like, what does the next couple months look like?
Right now, obviously, I'm kind of have some focus on the Indiegogo campaign to keep trying to update people about that. It's running until 9th of March, which is a week tomorrow. Also, I'm going back to Europe this month now. It's the 1st of March already. I can't believe it.
Are you going back home? Or are you going?
I'm going to be home, but I'm also going to be spending some time in London, which is a few hours from my home. And I'm going to be doing some shows there at the Troubadour in London, actually.
Nice.
So that's going to be really fun. And also, I'm going to be doing some songwriting for some movies as well, and actually tonight I'm going to go and work with one of the music supervisors for a movie, and that's something that I'm really enjoying, being able to have those kind of opportunities and push myself out of my own kind of writing comfort zone by writing to a brief, and then obviously working with other creative artists as well. It's great.
Well, please promise that you will keep us posted.
Absolutely.
And I understand that you're going to perform a brand new song for us.
Yes, I am. This song is actually going to be on my next album, and this one is called Shine.
So my question is, before you perform it, what's your songwriting process? I mean, you're performing during the day, often on the 3rd Street Promenade, you're doing all these other things. How does a song come to you? Does the melody come first? Do the lyrics come first? Because you're also a poet. Sort of, how does it?
It's an interesting thing. This particular song, I was in Cannes last year for the film festival, and I did some shows there, but at one point in the apartment where I was staying, I had some time to myself, and I was feeling really angry about this particular person. And,
anger is always a good motivator.
But it's interesting, because I haven't actually told anyone this, but so when I wrote the chords to it and the melody, I was kind of in an angry place, and then I just got really busy, and I didn't actually write the lyrics until 2 months later, and I was actually then in a happy place with the same person. And so I thought, okay, well, instead of just coming from, I want it to be authentic, so instead of trying to reenact what I was feeling at the time when I first wrote the chords, I'm just going to write what I'm feeling right now. And so it was kind of like a strong melody, but with actually, really positive lyrics. So,
oh, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
I like the dichotomy there.
But it's different every single time.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, please perform it for us.
Thank
and
you.
thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much.
Amy May is going to perform Shine.
Come up close to me, let me feel you breathe. I want you to see what you do to me, 'cause I can't deny that you're killing me. Then you turn around and you're saving me, 'cause you push me far, but you don't let go. Let me make mistakes just so I can know. When I hit the ground, you break my fall. When I start to think, you don't care at all. I have traveled a million miles, and I have fallen a million times. In search of you, yeah. Sometimes you gotta just free your mind, move on from all that you left behind, and shine, just shine. You came along and helped me realize I had the wings it's up to me to fly, and shine. So I wanna stay, let the record show. I appreciate how you helped me grow. When I tried to run, how you held me down. You let my demons out, they're in the matter down. 'Cause of the things you've done, I can truly see I'm not the girl I am today without your love. No, 'cause I have traveled a million miles, and I have fallen a million times. In search of you, yeah. Sometimes you gotta just free your mind, move on from all that you've left behind, and shine, just shine. You came along and helped me realize I had the wings it's up to me to fly, and shine, yeah. Oh, shine. Cause I have traveled a million miles, and I have fallen a million times. In search of you, in search of you. Sometimes you gotta just free your mind, move on from all that you've left behind, and shine, just shine.
so much for coming on the show. Everyone give it up for Amy May, and we will see you next week on the Weekly Comment. Thank you. Congratulations.